of my brand new show. So, what is this show going to be about? This show is just going to be about things in general that go on in my life that I feel that I should make a video about. Now, I discovered something of recent, being a PlayStation 5 user. Obviously, this is my DualSense controller. Behind the camera is obviously the screen to my TV. Now, I discovered a problem with the PlayStation 5. Not, well, there we go. That's another thing that's also a problem, but we'll get onto that in a second. Anyways, I discovered a problem. The problem that I discovered was that if you are playing PlayStation 5 games on the PlayStation 5, you cannot use a PlayStation 4 DualShock controller as the secondary controller. Now, that might not seem like a problem to some people who have multiple controllers. I have a PS5, Absta has a PS4. She has a DualShock 4, I have a DualSense. Basically meaning that any game that I download onto this console, I have to download the PS4 version. This is why when you've seen us recently play the House of Dead remake, I had to purposely download the PS4 version. If I download any PS5 version of a game, I am not able to play. She's not able to play the game with me on one console because I like playing online, which is fun, of course. But if there's two of you that live in one household, it makes more sense for the two of you to play on one console instead of both doing it online and using the same internet connection, which is just kind of pointless. So yeah, that's something that I've noticed. So there, obviously, there are games. The good thing about the PS5 is it's backwards compatible with the PS4, meaning that you can put PS4 discs into the PS5 and you can play PS4 games. Obviously, you need a disc drive version in order to do that. But it's just kind of annoying that you can connect a DualShock 4, it will come up, but it won't let you essentially use that controller. Now I know that there's ways you can do it through game share, but that's using the internet, and I'm trying to avoid using the internet. If I've got that person with me, I'd rather play it on one console. It makes more sense in order to do that. This is why, for example, Disney Speedstorm you may have seen over on her channel. Shout out to Abster as well. Like I had a lot of fun playing that over on her channel. I had to literally play that on her console due to the fact that I don't have a DualShock 4. So it basically means that I'm going to be forced into having to buy a DualShock 4 or buy a DualSense controller. Now, I don't want to buy a DualSense controller because the cheapest I've seen is like £60. Now, you can get a second-hand one. Unfortunately, at this moment in time, I haven't noticed many third-party PlayStation 5 controllers that are cheaper than the average price of the DualSense. So because of that, it leaves me in a situation where if I buy a controller, it's near enough the price of a brand new game. A new game these days is about £60. And the thing is, if I bought a secondary controller, I wouldn't want to buy a pre-owned one due to the fact that it would be getting used by Absol or potentially me, and I wouldn't want it to have drift or any problems like that. So it left me in a bit of a predicament. PS4 controllers aren't too bad because there are quite a few different ones. There's Nacon ones that I've had before. I've had Geotech ones. I've had quite a few different cheaper third-party controllers. So it might mean that I go down that sort of aspect. But it's kind of annoying because there are select games on this console, my PlayStation 5, that I play as PS5 versions. But any game that's co-op, I'm having to get it as the PS4 version if there is a couch co-op option. Like, for example, Streets of Rage 4, I have the PS4 version. I don't have the PS5 version. If I did, it would limit me being able to actually play that game with other people unless I was playing it online. Now, if I'm playing online with people that aren't in my household, then yeah, fair enough, that makes more sense. But otherwise, it's kind of counterproductive. It seems a bit stupid because Xbox, I know that you can use like Xbox controllers on the new Xbox Series X, like older ones as well. The backwards compatibility aspect of the Xbox as well is appealing. I probably would never get an Xbox due to the fact that I have some of the older PlayStation consoles being a collector. But yeah, it's kind of annoying. And I think the biggest offering that the PlayStation currently has is just the PlayStation Plus of like the older game category of stuff that you can play and access. But I just found that irritating Another problem that I've encountered with the PlayStation, which is doing my head in, is the camera that I have doesn't have microphones. Meaning, I had to buy a, a headset. Now, this is a decent headset. It's like a £60 headset. It's alright. I'm going to be upgrading it at some point, though. And yeah, I thought that was really annoying because if I game and I have some, so for example, when I play two-player games, even when I've got somebody with me and we're playing couch co-op, they can't hear any of the games. So in order for me to run commentary that sounds decent, there is a microphone that is inside of this controller because there are voice commands that you can do for the console and whatever else. But you don't want to hear the sound of like a controller and the buttons being pressed and joysticks being moved back and forth because the mic is like right in there, so it wouldn't be good. This is all you would constantly be hearing. So obviously, the microphone that I use is a retractable mic, right? But unless someone is sat like right next to me, you're not really gonna pick them up because they decided for some reason on the PlayStation 5 to remove the function that they had previously on the PlayStation 4, where the microphone, I think the version 2, I did do a video as well. Shout out to everyone who's viewed that video. It seems a lot of people like the version 2 PlayStation 4 camera. And do you know what? I wish we could bring it back. I really wish we could bring it back because having the microphones in the actual camera itself for streamers and stuff just made it a more fun and enjoyable experience. Meaning that I could just prop the camera down because my camera is literally just by there. I could literally just prop the camera down when I had the PS4 and just record as long as I knew it was, giving a good angle for the face cam. I knew that the mics were going to pick me up. That's how I used to play. And that was honestly the easiest way that I played. It was better as well when you were playing couch co-op games, more comfortable as well. Like, I like wearing a headset, don't get me wrong, but the biggest thing that I don't like doing, I don't like all the additional wires, so I'm going to be upgrading my headset at some point real soon and getting like a wireless headset just to make things a bit easier for myself when recording. And the other thing as well, like headsets wise, I was limited on the headsets that you can have because you can't use like a standard headset with a PlayStation 5. You can, but you don't really have mic features. You only really get mic features if you're using like a gaming headset. You can't. It's kind of counterproductive in that sense. So I am going to be looking into getting like a wireless headset just to free up, being attached to so many wires all the time. But yeah, the issue with the camera, not having mics, it just seems really silly because who wants to run a face cam with no commentary? Because really, if you're without that, you might as well just run commentaries without having a face cam. Certain games I don't run face cams due to the fact, like for example, if you're playing Streets of Rage, it takes up the whole of the screen, so you need to have, you need to have room on the screen to be able to essentially play. But it's just kind of backwards in that sense, and it's not something that I've enjoyed with the PlayStation. It doesn't put me off the console in any way at all, but it's just something that they need to improve. I feel like the reason why they did that was to sell you the official PlayStation headset, or a third party headset that's like licensed by them, so they're making more money off the situation. I have seen there is the Pulse 3D headset. There's a couple of different headsets that I've looked into potentially getting. I've also looked into upgrading my camera on my laptop because I have a laptop that has obviously an inbuilt webcam, which is pretty decent, but my lighting situation in here is not the best. But I've seen a reasonably priced webcam that I can get that will upgrade that situation. I wish we had different options as well for the camera quality of the PlayStation 5 camera. Like, we had more cameras to choose from. The PS4 had two. Essentially, it was like version 1 and version 2. That's always seemed to be some sort of limitation that they've put in place. But yeah, there's no cheap third-party PlayStation 5 dual sense controllers that I've seen. So I think I'm going to have to be forced to probably get like a PS4 controller. I will probably pick up Disney Speedstorm as well at some point in the future because I did have a lot of fun over on Asus channel playing it. But yeah, it just kind of seems backwards, when it comes to games. I recently had a game called Battle Axe, and I still haven't got around to playing it at some point. But I loaded it up the other day after doing the unboxing video, and we were going to play the game, and due to the fact that it's a PS5 game, I can't play that game co-op or anything without having an additional dual DualSense controller. So, you know, maybe if they go on offer, potentially I might pick another one up. I did see that they have like a black one that looks pretty cool. They have a £200 enhanced version of the controller, and alright, it does have a lot of improvements to the actual controller itself. Um, you know, I am someone that takes gaming seriously, but not to the point that I would spend £200 on a controller to enhance my gameplay experience. I prefer you guys to see me play with a standard controller, you know, what we all would essentially be using right now if you got a PS5, because let's be honest, unless you got one of the bougie controllers, we're all using this box standard PS5 controller, right? I'd rather you see me play with normal settings and normal stuff like that, so yeah, but it just means that I'm gonna have to, you know, get a controller, probably get a headset, upgrade my setup. So you'll see a lot of upgrades happening over in the next couple of weeks with quality of things on the channel that I want to improve. But I don't understand PlayStation. I do understand the money aspect of it, but it's just kind of backwards because you would want to get as many people as you possibly can, right, to play your console. And in order to do that, you would want to get as many people as you can in one room. I know everybody has an additional console and whatever these days, but couch co-op is something that is truly still alive. And now if you want to stream on the PS5, I do not recommend streaming on the PS5 if you're going to do couch co-op gameplay, because only one of you is going to have a headset. I need to work out if the only other way I was thinking about doing it, which means I'm going to have to hang on to this headset, would be to buy a DualSense and then set up a party chat with Abster, get her to plug the wire in so that she's got the headset on and I've got a headset on the whole time, and we literally would have to be sat next to each other like we were in a gaming cab here playing a game in order for you guys to be able to hear commentary from both of us and also be able to like we both be able to hear the game. It's kind of backwards. It's like they've made the PlayStation 5 essentially for solo streamers for that particular aspect of the console. Otherwise, I've not really got a lot of issues or gripes with it. But I thought I'd just make this video just in case anybody else has encountered this problem, and yeah, you may want to talk about it. You know what I mean? But yeah, so you let me know. What do you think I should do? Should I get a DualSense? Should I bite the bullet, get a DualSense, or should I just get a decent DualShock for third-party controller or whatever else? Even the annoying thing was, I even though the PS4 is like a good couple years old now, even a brand new controller, they're still about 40 quid, and that's a bit much. Like a third party controller, about £30 I would spend. So we'll see what would be the better option, but I think I'll essentially have to end up biting the bullet and getting a DualSense controller, because the good thing about the PlayStation 5, when you download all your games as PS4 variants, a lot of the games you can then re-download as PS5 versions. Meaning, if you're someone like me that likes to play games a lot and you like to get trophies and like to get achievements or whatever, or you're a completionist, you're essentially getting two versions of the same game. It's not the same for every single game, but majority of most games. So, yeah, that's something that I had in one sense I thought to myself, that is something to look forward to, that if I get an additional DualSense controller, I can use that towards, you know, more videos and content in the future. And I know that there's not many, but there are some PS5 exclusive games that obviously Absa would not be able to play or access due to the fact of having a PS4. So maybe, I don't know. But anyways, guys, I've been James News. You guys have been my lovely audience. This is the first episode of This Is the News. And yeah, let me know if there's anything you want me to talk about in the future. Any other sort of, you know, short PlayStation problems, gaming problems, whatever it may be. Anything that kind of comes to my mind, I'm going to come here and address it. And make these like short little 15-minute interval videos for you all. But I just wanted to know if you came across that problem before, if you came across that issue, like what was your workaround for it? You know, I know there's the whole Game Share thing, but I don't really want to be using the internet on several devices in order to like play. You know what I mean? But anyways, see you in a bit. Keep on smiling. Peace and bye bye.